Show. Wednesday show. Wednesday show. Wednesday show. It's time. You're in the know. I apologize if anyone is out there like, why isn't he starting yet? Because I literally just got in like minutes ago. It's been a crazy 2 weeks. However, it's kind of finally done, but that's not. It's never not fully done, because as you know, I like to go. Let me continue to. Oh no. Uh, hey, MCM, how you doing? We are recapping the Oh, my phone just died. This is why. Ah, I've been trying to get all this stuff ready, but my phone keeps on dying. Everything's going crazy right now. I got to the park. I didn't even come home straight. I went straight from the airport to the park to Epcot, and I haven't even shaved yet. It's driving me crazy. But I went straight from the airport to Epcot, and while I was over at Epcot, my phone died over there, and I was like, because I was trying to do my photo for the day. And then I ran home, grabbed some food on the way home, just ate as quickly as possible. And then I was like, oh no, I never even started my computer up to do the show. So we were like 2 minutes late. So I apologize to anyone out there who is joining us, and you guys are like wondering why I'm late. But today we're going to be doing a recap of the Dopey Challenge, which was now almost 2 weeks ago, and the Dumbo Double Dare Challenge as well over in Disneyland, the happiest race on earth. The happiest race. Oh, there you go. Same exact thing. Does this one say we're back? I don't think it does. It does not. But still, I absolutely love this mug. This is literally the only time, or this is the only thing that I actually purchased of the thing. Hey, Candace. Look, wait. I want everyone to look at Candace's profile picture here. So Candace is officially on the Plan Disney panel, which is a huge deal. Like, it's absolutely a huge deal. They only select, is it 20 people, 18 people, 20 people, 18. Some people. They only select a certain amount of people every single year, and Candace is one of those people. 16. That's even better. So they only select 16 people, and Candace is one of the official Plan Disney panel people this year. So everyone, if you're in the chat room, give her a round of applause, because that is it really is a massive, completely massive thing. She told me about it months ago. What was it, November that you told me, or maybe October? And you're like, I got some really exciting news. But I think it's extremely exciting because it is a massive thing. So yeah, give it up for Candace. Candace is officially part of the. Thank you so. No problem. Yeah, October. Okay, so October she told me, but you just finally posted about it the other day. But if you guys don't know what the Plan Disney panel is, it's every year Disney chooses 16 people to have it so they can be part of the. It's essentially like you can go through and you can ask people questions and stuff. It started off as the Moms panel, and then as time has gone on, it eventually became the Disney Parks panel, or the Plan Disney panel, and that's what it is today. But yeah, Candace is one of only, was it 2 Canadians or 3 Canadians that got chosen? 2 Canadians, I want to say. I don't know. Overall, it's extremely excited. We are recapping the run. My phone died, so I'm recapping the Run Disney Coast to Coast Challenge right now over on the From Screen to Theme Facebook page. No, come on. From Facebook page and my YouTube channel. Okay. So let's get this party started, because we have a lot to talk about, because it's been a very busy 2 weeks. Considering the fact that we were here 2 weeks ago today, 2 weeks ago to this very minute, and I had just picked up my bibs for the Dopey Challenge. And now here we are literally 14 days later. In that 14-day time, I have ran 48.6 miles here at Walt Disney World. I worked 2 days, and then I hopped on a plane to LAX with my dream in a cardigan. I flew out to California, and then I did another 22.4 miles, bringing my total up to 71 miles total. And we have so much to talk about the races, about Disneyland, about every single thing. So let's get this party started. We are going to start, I don't even know what number episode this is, the 752nd episode of the Wednesday show in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 752nd episode of the Wednesday show. Today is January 17th, 2024, and I'm your host, as always, Brent Dodge. Hello. Today, we're going to be talking about the Run Disney Coast to Coast Challenge, which we participated over the last 2 weeks, starting with the Dopey Challenge here at Walt Disney World and the Dumbo Double Dare Challenge over in Disneyland, along with the 5K over there. But, of course, before we get to that, let's talk about our news for the week. First off, I would like to apologize to anyone who tried to join us for our Saturday in the Park. If you didn't already know, every single Saturday, right here on my YouTube channel, we do a live broadcast from someplace found throughout the Walt Disney World Resort. You never know where we're going to be, but I promise you we will always be coming to you live from Disney. However, this past week, I did not broadcast, mainly to the fact that my phone has been acting up and it is dying quicker and quicker as every single day goes by. So, unfortunately, on Saturday, I wanted to do a broadcast. I just didn't have the time to do a broadcast. Well, I had the time to do a broadcast, but my phone battery just would not allow me to do it. Plus, Saturday was a crazy day where we had one of my friends flying in. We had to get her into the expo before the expo closed to get her bib and blah, blah, blah. Long story. We're going to go through all that stuff as we go through here. But as we go through, start throwing your questions into the comments because I know you guys probably have a lot of questions about both coast and the crazy challenge that we just did. But if you guys have any questions, start throwing them down. But before we get to that, as always, tonight's episode is sponsored by our Patreon pals. Patreon pals. How come I'm singing the sound of music? What is that? Edelweiss. Edelweiss. Hiya. Hey, Dino is king. Okay, so we have so much to talk about. Let's go through and talk about it all. So let's start off with the Dopey Challenge. My ears still have not... Wait. Is it popped? Oh, it's popped. I can hear it now. I literally just got off a flight like 2 hours ago. All right, I started flying out this morning at 4 a.m. Or I'm sorry. No, I woke up at 5 a.m. West Coast time. I don't even know what do they call that? Pacific time? Yeah, Pacific time. And I woke up at 5 o'clock, got to the airport around 6 o'clock. And then, I woke up at 4 o'clock, left. I don't know. I don't even remember. Today's been such a long, crazy day. But I started in California. I landed about 2.5 hours ago, maybe 3 hours ago now. Drove to Epcot, got into Epcot, was in there for about an hour-ish, and then I just came home. So this is literally my first time in my condo. And I have not had a chance I don't even know, anything. I'm okay. Let's get this party started. So let's start off with the Dopey Challenge, and it's crazy that we're going to be talking about the Dopey Challenge at first here because it feels like it was forever ago. Now, in case you've never joined us before when we talk about Run Disney and when you talk specifically about the Dopey Challenge, and you don't know what the Dopey Challenge is exactly, the Dopey Challenge is a 4-day race event where you do the 5K on Thursday, the 10K on Friday, half marathon on Saturday, and then the full marathon on Sunday. Altogether, it leads up to 48.6 miles. Does it say on this shirt? This is one of my old shirts. It does. 48.6 miles. Kind of tough to see there. But it ends up doing 48.6 miles. And the 5K part starts off at Epcot and ends at Epcot. We're not going to go into too much stuff about the Dopey because Dumbo Double Dare is really the exciting thing because it's been 7 years since Run Disney has had races over in Disneyland. But let's talk a little bit about what happened with the 5K. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull up some of my stuff here. This is going to be like a blast from the past because it feels like it literally feels like forever ago that we did the Dopey Challenge, even though it was literally not that long ago. Okay, so at the Dopey Challenge, first off, prior to the race and after the race, you can go through and meet some characters. As usual, I went through and I met quite a few characters. We met Pluto after the race. As you can see there, we got our bibs on. We also met Dopey. That's a much bigger group of us because we were doing the Dopey Challenge. I met the Ugly Duckling, which I was so excited about because the Ugly Duckling I've never seen before in America. Prior to this, he's only been at one private event in America, and then he was also used to be in Japan. Ozzo the Lucky Rabbit there. And then so what they did was they had it so there was a theme going around for this race where all the different characters were based off of the first 25 years of the Disney legacy. So as we would go through, we would have it so everything from 1923 until actually it was not 25 years, but until 1937. So when we went through, we had Snow White and her prince there, Clarabelle Cow, Goofy, and then we had Pluto. I already showed you Pluto. I think there was one more character on course. We had Mickey. Mickey was actually the first character on the entire course. And then we also had the Big Bad Wolf from the 1933 classic, The Three Little Pigs. Who's afraid of the Big Bad Wolf? Big Bad Wolf, Big Bad Wolf. After you finish up the 5K, you got our first medal of 11. Yes, 11. We had 11 medals throughout the course of this 11-day craziness. Yeah, well, okay, so I see people in here saying someone's getting a cold. I am not sick. I actually feel great, but I think my body hated me by the end of the 71 miles and was like, you need to stop or I'm going to force you to stop. And so after the half marathon this past Sunday, I started getting nasally. I rested a lot afterwards, and then I started feeling better. And actually, Monday, I was feeling pretty darn good. Yesterday, I was feeling great. I'm still feeling great. I just need to get the snot out. All right, but yeah, this is our first medal of the entire challenge here of our 11 medals. This is Pluto. Pluto goes up and down. All right, so our next, you know what? Should we wear all of the 11 as we go through here? Yeah, let's do it that way. I've worn all 11 only one time, and that was that picture that you guys may have seen on my Instagram and on my Facebook. Okay, so that's going to bring us to our second day. On our second day, we would go through, and it would be from 1940, starting with like Fantasia and Pinocchio, and it would go all the way until, what was the year? I can't remember what. Oh, Mary Poppins. All right, so before the race, we met Daisy Duck. Also, the people who were running with me, I had Catherine. Catherine and I have been friends for 20 years as of next week, right? As of 3 days from now. Jiminy Cricket, her and I did the college program together. And then my friend Frank, who has been in a lot of my videos in the past. Miss Bunny, a.k.a. from Thumper's girlfriend, wife, Mrs. And then during the race, and then I also had Frank and his son Timothy there. Peter Pan and Wendy from 1953. And then we had, like I said, it goes through Mary Poppins. So we had Mary Poppins and one of the penguins there. But the 10K course started off in Epcot. We ran around through the boardwalk area and then back over to Epcot as well. Overall, a great course. I absolutely love this course. Thumper. My friend Catherine did not. This was her least favorite of all the courses. There we have Aurora. Frank looks really excited to see Aurora. Oh, wait. So actually, let's talk about this picture right here. So when we got up there, we were literally 2 people away, and it was Aurora along with Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather. And when Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather were there as well, we were like, oh, this is great. And then they said, oh, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather have to go step away for a minute. They're going to be right back. And so we're like, oh, okay. And then Aurora was just like, because everyone was like, oh, they're going to come right back. And then all of a sudden, the one person's like, if anyone, like literally 5 minutes later, if anyone wants to get a picture with Aurora before the fairies come back, you guys are more than welcome to. We're like, well, no, you said they'll be right back. And she's like, yeah, in like half an hour. We're like, why didn't you say? So we ended up just getting Aurora there. We got Jose Carioca from the Three Caballeros. There's also known as Saludos Amigos. And we had Pinocchio. So during the 5K, 10K, half, and not the full, or not the half either. During the 5K and 10K, we did meet every single character that was on course. There is the Mad Hatter, Hyacinth Hippo from Fantasia, and there is Cinderella, Susie, and Perla from Cinderella. And that was all our characters there. So after doing that one, we were able to get our next one. Catherine's here. I love the course, but I had a difficult run. After you said that you hit a difficult run, I felt so bad because I was like, I should have started back with Catherine. Also, give it up for Catherine because Catherine had never ran a full marathon before. Right here. Catherine had never ran a full marathon before, and she ended up doing Dopey. So she did 48.6 miles with her first marathon ever. So give her huge props in the chat room because that is just running 26.2 miles is a lot, but running a 5K, 10K, and a half marathon before that is just an insane thing to do. So give her huge props. And since she's on YouTube, she doesn't see the comments coming from Facebook. Way to go, Catherine. Clap. Okay, and so this is going to be our 10K medal. Chippendale, and they move up and down. Ooh. I'm looking at my medals. I kind of feel like I may have forgotten a medal in my backpack. Maybe I have enough here. All right, so that's going to bring us to our next one, which is going to be the half marathon. The half marathon was everyone from after Mary Poppins all the way up until 1999 with Tarzan. Now, this one, we did have some of my favorite ones. First off, I would like to say this was the first time. There we go. We got that is amazing, Catherine. Huge props, Catherine. Way to go, Catherine. It's quite as impressive as I was died during a 5K. Yeah, but Eric, your situation is completely different. You were sane enough to say this is the end for me. Okay, so Catherine and I stuck together for the half marathon and the full marathon. So there we have our first character. That's Mushu. Then we have Kerchak from Tarzan. I had never met him before, so I was really excited to meet him. We had Max's Power Line. It's not the greatest picture. Miko from Pocahontas. We had a lot of 90s characters. Chippendale. Rescue Ranger. So while we go through and look at these ones here, we got Megan Hercules. So there was inclement weather in the area. There's Robin Hood. So the night before, Run Disney had to make a really difficult decision. Marie from Aristocats. And they said that, hey, just giving you guys a heads up, tomorrow, we got Merlin there. Tomorrow, when you guys run the half marathon, we are shortening the course. Kloppen and Esmeralda from Hunchback of Notre Dame. I think that might be all. Yeah. So they made the difficult thing. So instead of being a 13.1 mile run, it was only going to be a 7.1 mile run instead. Hello. I could barely walk the kids to starting corral. So because they were shortening the course, we were like pretty devastated. I think I did a pretty good job of not showing my devastation. So we were having dinner at Catherine's hotel. It was her and her dad were staying at a place that had a kitchen. Her dad wanted to make dinner for us. So there was 4 of us that went over there and we had dinner. And while we were there, that's when we got the news that the course was going to be shortened. So at that moment, I said, we still want to run the 48.6 miles. So as soon as the race is done, the 7.1 miles is done, what we'll do is we will go someplace else and run the rest of our race. So Catherine and I finished it was a very long half marathon for us because we stopped and we met every character along the course. And after we finished meeting all the characters, we would go to the car and we drove straight to Art of Animation. We parked there and then we ran around Hourglass Lake until we finished our last 6 miles. So we ended up doing our 13.1. So we really, I felt very glad with what we did in this situation because it was such a heartbreaking decision for us to go through and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that we're losing half the course. And I know for someone like Catherine, I think it was especially devastating for her because she's trained so hard to do 48.6 miles. And then they're like, hey, by the way, you're not doing 48.6. You're only going to do 42.6. And so we made the decision at the moment, we're going to finish this race and we're not going to, there might be lightning in the area, but we're going to risk our life and do it all. So we went over and we completed our 13.1 miles. So we did do 13.1 miles total. This one spins around. There we go. Let's do it this way. Ooh, I can't. All right, I can't. The opposite thing's not working there for me. Let's see here. We got that one. I feel like I'm missing. Oh, maybe I'm not missing one. Yes. Okay. There we go. All right. So the next day was the big kahuna itself, the full marathon, where where we did 26.2 miles all around Walt Disney World. Now, if you don't know what the full marathon is, it's craziness, but it's a whole lot of fun. So for this one, the theme was from 2000 till 2023. We started off in the Epcot parking lot. We ran into Epcot. And then after we ran through Epcot, just for the front part of Epcot, we would then make our way up to the Magic Kingdom. We ran through the Magic Kingdom parking lot into Main Street USA. Up Main Street USA, we hung a right. We went through Tomorrowland, and then we actually went past Tron, which was a new part of the course, and I was freaking out. I was like, this is amazing. Went past Tron, then we went through Storybook Circus, then through the castle, took a right, went through Liberty Square, then Frontierland, and then we went back out stage. Right when we got to the backstage part, we got doused. It started pouring rain, and it was so cold. Like, it was the coldest rain I've ever ran in, and it's the only time in the 71 miles that we just did where I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, it was the only time in my mind that I ever had doubt, and I never have doubt during runs, but I was so cold, and I was like, this is ridiculous. We are not even halfway through, and now I am just soaked with cold water. But luckily, it only rained for about a mile, maybe a mile and a half. We ran to Animal Kingdom. We rode Expedition Everest, and then after we got up to Expedition Everest, I've only ever ridden Expedition Everest during a marathon. I've never done anything else. There's been times where I've done Everest twice, but this time I did Everest, and then Catherine and I were like, let's go on Triceratops Spin, because we were going by and there was a run around there, and we're like, yes, let's do that. So we did Triceratops Spin, then we left Animal Kingdom, made our way through the boardwalk, or I'm sorry, not the boardwalk, through the Blizzard Beach parking lot, and then we made our way up to Disney's Hollywood Studios. And then from Disney's Hollywood Studios, you go on the boardwalk to Epcot. At this point, I was not feeling amazing. My foot was killing me. Catherine was killing it. I said, Catherine, you just go ahead. We got 2 miles left. We're both going to finish. But she was going at a much faster pace than I was. So she went ahead. But before she left, we were both talking about how it would be fun to do one more ride. And we both went on Test Track as well. So overall, amazing day. So much fun. Here's the characters we met. So we got Lilo there from Lilo and Stitch. She was at the starting line. Ooh, wrong way. Wrong way. We got Goofy. We met him before the race as well. This is Abby Mallard from Chicken Little. Handy Manny from the hit television show Handy Manny. Bowler Hat Guy, or Goob, from Meet the Robinsons. Oh, there's our selfie in front of the castle. We met Tiana and Louis the alligator over in Fantasyland. Penelope. This was right after the rain, so we actually missed Wreck-It Ralph. He was supposed to be out, and he was pulled, but Penelope was still there at the next character spot because then it stopped raining. Joy over at, obviously, Disney's Hollywood Studios. You got the Tower of Terror behind us. Anna and Elsa. This was over at the Blizzard Beach parking lot. We had Doug at the entrance to Disney's Animal Kingdom. This is Doc McStuffins. I can't remember where she was. Ian from Onward. He was at the entrance of Disney's Hollywood Studios, which actually was a backstage area. Let's see here. Is there anyone else? Oh, Mira. That was actually my niece's favorite character for about a year there. She was at the exit of Disney's Hollywood Studios. We had Sophia the First. A lot of people were really upset because of how many like younger characters there were. I didn't care. There's us on Expedition Everest. There's us on Triceratops Finn. We had Mirabelle and Bruno. This was right after Catherine and I got separated. Gamora and Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy. Anyone else? And then me running past the castle, and there's Catherine in the corner there as well. And then me crossing the finish line. So after doing the 26.2 miles, we got our fourth medal of the weekend. This one does spin around there, so you got the fireworks in the background. And then also, Mickey and Minnie both can go up and down. So that was going to be our next one there. So we got that one. And then for doing the half marathon and the full marathon, then you get the Goofy Challenge medal. So this is the Goofy Challenge. Wait a minute. Let's move him back. Goofy Challenge. And then he moves sideways as well. But one of my favorite things about this one, which I didn't realize until I woke up from my nap that day, is at the bottom there, we've got Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom, Spaceship Earth, and Goofy just covered up the Tower of Terror. And the Tower of Terror, which I think is really cool. That's a really cool touch. And then for doing all four of the races, the 48.6 miles, then you are officially Dopey. And let's see, it's tough to see the lights. I think my lights might already be burned out. This one right here and this one right here, they both light up. It's just really tough to see it right now. So that is the Dopey Challenge. So then I slept a lot on Sunday. We went to the park. We went over to Disney's Hollywood Studios that night. We got some food. And then I made my way on Monday to work and on Tuesday to work. And I was exhausted. And the worst part was I had to wake up early in the morning on Wednesday to fly out to California to do not all of it again, but to do the first three things again. So first off, let's talk a little bit about this, because one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is, if you've been following me for quite some time now, at least 7 years, then you probably remember way back in the day, I used to go through and do a lot of different videos about Disneyland, because I would go out to Disneyland 2 times a year. I would go out for the Avengers half marathon, and I would also go for the Star Wars half marathon. And then 7 years ago, they decided to get rid of the Run Disney races over there for a whole lot of different reasons. But when that ended, I wasn't going out to Disneyland as often as I used to, because that was my big excuse to go out there. So for 7 years now, the Disneyland races have been gone, and now they are finally back. Yes. I love the Disneyland races. I think I love the Disney World ones more, but I still really enjoy the Disneyland races. So let's get to the Disneyland races. Now, first off, I signed up for the 5K, which was separate than the Dumbo Double Dare Challenge. And the 5K was a very unique one, because for the very first time ever, they actually started inside the park. So you actually started on Main Street, USA, right next to the castle. The castle was on the left-hand side. You started by running towards the Matterhorn. You hooked the left. You went past the Teacups, past Small World, through Toontown, and then you went backstage until you got over to Galaxy's Edge, over by the Kylo Ren ship. After you get to the Kylo Ren ship, you took a left. You went into Frontierland. You took a right. I know this is probably very confusing for people who are used to Disney World and not Disneyland, on the fact that Galaxy's Edge is found over in Disneyland Park, but that's where it is. So we went through Frontierland, and then we made our way to the right around through New Orleans Square, through Critter Country, then through the rest of Galaxy's Edge. Then we exited backstage. We went around the rest of the park until we eventually got over to Disney's California Adventure, We entered over by Guardians of the Galaxy, hung a right, took a left down Hollywood Street, and then we eventually made our way through Avengers Campus, through Cars Land, took a left into Pixar Pier, and then you actually finished inside of Pixar Pier, like over by Disney California Adventure. Overall, really cool. Let's show you guys the characters that we met. Now, this was a completely different event than what I'm used to, because in Disney World, there's so many character spots that when you go to the character spots, it's usually pretty quick, but these people didn't really know what to do because they're not used to it at all. So our first character spot, I don't even have on here. Do I not have on here? Frank is not sending the pictures yet. So our first character spot was Goofy and Max, which I do not have the pictures of yet. I need Frank, if you're watching, send me the pictures of Goofy and Max. Do know. So we met, after we met them, we met Jack and Sally. Not the greatest character meet and greet. I mean, it would be, but they were behind a fence. So it was kind of cool, but they were behind a fence, so it wasn't the coolest. We met Cruella de Vil. Frank did not meet Bolt, but I met Bolt. And then we met one other one where, there you go. We met Doug and Carl Fredrickson as well. Is there one more? No, that's it. Yeah, so that's going to be the last one there. So after finishing the 5K, you got your next medal. This was our 7th medal of the week. So for the whole challenge altogether, Frank and I were the only ones in our group that got into the 5K and the Dumbo Double Dare. And then Catherine did not get into Dumbo Double Dare, and Timothy got into it. So we all have a different amount of medals. But yeah, this was my 7th one. I like how it's the old retro style of Disneyland. And then Pluto moves there as well, revealing the 2024. So that brings us to Saturday. Look at all these medals. So when we got to Saturday, the half marathon started, or I'm sorry, this is the 10K. I'm used to the half marathon not being on Saturday because of the other one. So we started off, where's my pictures at? I took so many pictures. Okay, so you started off outside of the park. You entered into the park over by Guardians of the Galaxy again. You went through Avengers Campus, then you went through Cars Land, you took a left, you went around Pixar Pier, you eventually made your way past Soarin', and then you went down Buena Vista Boulevard, outside the park, across the way over to Disneyland. You ran through Disneyland, starting by going down Main Street USA. There's a water stop on Main Street USA. Really weird, but okay. And then we took a left. Is that how we did it? I'm trying to think how we did this one. Yes, maybe. We took a left. Went straight. We took a right. No, we took a left. We went through Adventureland. No, we went through Frontierland. We went past New Orleans Square. Then we went through Critter Country, through Galaxy's Edge, came back over by Frontierland. That's how it was. We went through Adventureland into New Orleans Square, and then we came back through Galaxy's Edge into Frontierland, and then we exited back over by the castle, ran through the castle, hung a right, went past the carousel, went past the Mad Tea Party, swung around to the right-hand side, had the Matterhorn right in front of you, went around Pixie Hollow into Tomorrowland, went through Tomorrowland, hung a left, went on the other side of the Matterhorn until eventually we got over towards Small World and Mickey's Toontown. Yes, Mickey's Toontown, then hung a left, and then we were like backstage for a little bit. And those last 2 miles, I just said, you know what? We got so much stuff to do, or so many more miles to do tomorrow, so let's just walk the rest of it. So Frank and I spent the whole time together. This one was probably the most frustrating moments of any race I've ever done. And let me explain. Scrooge McDuck. I love Scrooge McDuck. He is my favorite Disney character of all time. Frank started in earlier corral. So Frank ran ahead and he said, I'm going to get into the first character. So he got on the first character line, which was for Huey, Dewey, and Louie. I've never met Huey, Dewey, and Louie. I obsessed with, like, I've always wanted to meet Huey, Dewey, Louie. There are three of the characters I've always said, if I can meet them in a race, I will stop no matter what. So Frank said, hey, Huey, Dewey, and Louie are here. I freaked out. I thought he might have been lying to me, but I saw them. I got in a line. It was a long line. And then they came up and they said, hey, just letting you know, we are switching them out with Scrooge McDuck. And I was like, I love Scrooge. I really do. He's one of my favorites. But I would give anything to meet Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And sadly, I did not meet them. I met Scrooge, which I'm still happy about, but I was so close. Our next character was Launchpad McQuack. And then I think that those might have been the only two characters we met. We also had this cool photo opportunity of an old DuckTales sign from the 1990s. But yeah, overall, not a lot of characters on the course. And this was also when it started to get more and more insane. It was getting busier and busier because of the amount of runners and then also the amount of character lines. So here we go. This is the 10K medal. We got Daisy in a ponytail. And so they actually run separately. So Daisy's here, and then Donald can chase after her. All right, so that is our 10K. Let's get to the half marathon. So the half marathon started off at the same spot. You went around Disneyland around California Adventure on the backside. Eventually, you entered into the park over by Guardians of the Galaxy. You went through Avengers Campus, and then you went through Cars Land, and you took a left. You went around Pixar Pier. After you went through Pixar Pier, you went past Soarin', or not past Soarin'. You would go outside right by Soarin', which would take you not backstage. Well, you take backstage for like a minute. That was mile 3. I remember because it was it was awful. It was the worst water stop in the history. I don't know why they put it here. It was the most narrow walkway ever. And it literally, the entire race just came to a complete stop. Like literally could not move. It was terrible. It was my only big complaint of the entire weekend. But so we went back, you go backstage for a split second, then you go into downtown Disney. You hang a right, you go past Earl's Sandwich until you eventually get over towards Disneyland. You go through Disneyland, starting off by going down Main Street, USA. Then we took a right. We went through Tomorrowland, circled around Tomorrowland into Fantasyland, went through the castle, took a right over by Frontierland, went down there through. I'm sorry, I'm looking off to the distance. I'm just trying to visualize this entire thing. Then we went through New Orleans Square, past Critter Country, through Galaxy's Edge, eventually came back around and make your way over towards Toontown, went backstage once again, and then we were out in the streets of Anaheim. Long, long, long streets of Anaheim, and out there for like 9 miles or 8 miles, some ridiculous mileage. When we would go out there, we would eventually make our way to Honda Stadium, which is where the Mighty Ducks play, and then around Angel Stadium, which is where the Angels play, the baseball team. So overall, met quite a few really cool characters on this one. That is the mayor of Halloween Town. That was actually a parade float, but I stopped for the parade float. This one, Catherine and I were together for the majority of it. We met Sadness. We also met Mater and Lightning McQueen. It's on PhotoPass only. Neither one of us had PhotoPass. We met Donald and Daisy. This was the most ridiculously long line, probably of the entire race weekend. And then we also met Pete as well. When we would go over by Angel Stadium, we also had a chance to meet Wild Wing, the official mascot of the Mighty Ducks, and we're both positive that he was not supposed to be a meet and greet character, that he just was out there cheering and people formed a line, because he was getting very frustrated and he started signaling that he wanted one of the cheerleaders that were nearby to cut the line off. So after finishing the half marathon, we got this lovely medal, Mickey and Minnie. The paint is chipping off because I did have a few of the medals on at the same time. Some people get really upset by that. I just say that it's, it just shows that the medal's got some love. So that's the half. For doing both the 10K and the half marathon back-to-back days, you complete the Dumbo Double Dare, and then the thing in the background spins. And then for doing both a half marathon or a full marathon in Walt Disney World and a half marathon in Disneyland in the same calendar year. We just happened to do it within 11 days of each other. Not even 7 days, 8 days of each other. Then you get the Coast to Coast medal. So if you look here in the top right corner, that is Sleeping Beauty Castle. Bottom left, we got Cinderella Castle. And then those do flip around. So on one side, we got a Mickey. Or I'm sorry, is that Minnie? Yeah, it's Minnie. And then on the other side, we got Mickey. And then we got, of course, California there, Florida there. And then one of the coolest touches of it all is on the back, we have the partner statue. And then in the top right, we've got the Disneyland D, which is like their logo. And then we have the Walt Disney World D, which is Walt Disney World's logo. And that was our race weekend. So let's go to the questions in the 2 race weekends. Let's go to your questions in the comments. Does anyone have any questions about anything or everything with these races? We're going to keep it specifically to these races. We're not going to do any other questions for the time being. Well, if you want to ask like a Disneyland, like how was the Disneyland trip, we'll do those ones, but not the other ones. You saw just such great characters. Weren't they amazing characters? Coast to Coast, well done. Yeah. This was my 14, 15, 16, 17. So this is my 5th Coast to Coast. 17th was the last one that we had before this. You were one of the very few people who seems absolutely smitten by hours and days spent running. It's fun times. And the whole time Brent was running through Disneyland, he was like, "Where's the huge castle?" The whole castle is amazing. I love their castle over there. It's just extremely minuscule and small. Oh, yeah. Anyone out there have any questions about the race weekends, about characters that we met, about whatnot? Yeah, so pretty much I spent 7 days, well, technically 8. Oh, no, 7 days. 7 days out in Disneyland. I flew in last Wednesday. I flew back this morning. I didn't get to spend any time at the park this morning. But yeah, were the courses in Disneyland more congested? Way more congested. So much more congested. Now, the only things that kind of completely threw me was the fact that so starting off the 5K in Disneyland was a really cool experience, but it was also probably one of my least favorite experiences at all. And let me explain why. So if you've ever done a Disney World race, then you know that there's usually 4 or 5 corrals for the 5K. And in those 4 or 5 corrals, they have it so they kind of separate the group of people running. So if you're a Corral A, most likely there's like 3, maybe 4 times where they're going to let Corral A people go out to kind of thin out the crowd going down. They didn't do this in Disneyland. In Disneyland, it was your Corral A, go. And so the issue was because they were just letting the entire group of people run, it caused tons of congestion. It caused so many more people to be stuck around. And because there were so many people sticking around, it was crazy. Like, it was absolutely crazy how many people were running down these courses at the same time. And it just became so chaotic that when we saw Goofy and Max, we were like, oh, this is a long line, but we'll wait for Goofy and Max. We waited for about 10, 15 minutes. And then the next character was Beast, Belle, and Lumiere. And the line started in Galaxy's Edge. And this is, keep in mind, we're Corral A. Like, we literally were one of the first people to start. We're in Corral A. We go on that line. And I got in the line first. And Frank caught up to me and I said, I don't even know where the characters are. Like, I just know that who the characters are because the character attendant told me. So I said, can you find out how far they are? I'll just keep our spot in line. So, you know what? Let's do it this way, because this is going to make it so much easier for you guys to visualize. Because right now, if I'm just saying it, you're going to be like, oh, that doesn't sound too bad. Wait a minute, because now you're going to be like, oh, that's crazy. Okay. All right, so this is Galaxy's Edge. This is one of the entrances to Galaxy's Edge. The line started roughly right here, like right as you enter the tunnel. This is Kylo Ren's ship here. So the line went through the tunnel over here, and then it went down this path, and then U-turn, and then they were right here. So it was roughly, again, we're in the first row, roughly about a 30-minute wait to meet the two characters. And we said no, because we wanted to meet all the characters, but I said, you know what? It's worth skipping a few characters and then possibly meeting more characters later on, because if we wait in that line, then the next character line is going to be long too. And then the one after that, and the one after that, one after that. So it was a lot more congested in the parks. The parks aren't the widest. It's not like Disney World. But I think if they would have had it so the race started outside the parks and kind of did the staggered starts, it would have been a little bit easier for us to have it so the character lines weren't awful and maybe a little bit more spread out. But overall, it was fun. Like, overall, it was still a lot of fun. So proud of all you crazy runners. Yeah. You got more rides in at Disneyland than you usually do at Walt Disney World, it seems like. Yes, but at the same time, I'm not working. I wasn't working. So my most attractions I've ever had in a single day at Walt Disney World was last year when I was doing the whole count was 37. Most I did in a single day out there was 26. So, but it helps when I'm not working. So for 7 straight days, I was just going to the park and running. So yeah, I got a lot more rides than I would do here because I wasn't working. If you go by my days off here, I'm usually getting about 20 to 30 attractions in. So about the same. We had a fun time hanging out. I had a great time with you guys too, Matt. We had a lot of fun. I want to hear about San Francisco. You can text me later about it though. We'll talk about San Francisco a little bit. So I didn't get a chance to spend too much time in San Francisco. What I did use was I used my Google Translate, where you can like hold something over and it'll automatically translate it to you. And it was really cool because I was kind of going through and talking about all the different, everything in there is in Japanese, but it all made sense. Like, it all made sense and it actually fit in really well with the area. I want to go back. I want to spend more time there. They had a lot of cool subtle references to Big Hero 6. They also had some really obvious ones, like obviously like a posters of the Big Hero 6 characters. I'm going to take this off because my neck is getting really sore. Clang. But yeah, overall, it was a really cool area. I love the Golden Gate Bridge. Going into the area was really cool. The only problem I have with it is the fact that it's a dining area. So I wish that they would have had a little bit more to do with like an attraction or more character meet and greets than Baymax. But I mean, still, it was really cool. Really, really cool. How was Tiana's Palace? It looked incredible. It was... So what did I have there? I had the Cajun chicken. Everything was like Cajun style or gumbo, and I'm not a gumbo fan. I don't like hot, liquidy. Coffee? No, thank you. Soup? Give me ice cream. I like ice cream. I also like chicken. So the only thing that was on the menu that was good for a picky eater was the Cajun chicken. I had it. It was good. The details inside of Tiana's Palace were amazing. So they have a giant drum in there, and it says the Firehouse 5 plus Lou, as a reference to the Firehouse 5 plus 2. But Lou, obviously being Louis the alligator from the movie, Firehouse 5 plus 2 is the band of animators and people who worked at Walt Disney Studios. So back when Disneyland was first opening up, Walt was trying to find more and more things to keep people entertained at the park, and he asked a bunch of people at the park or at the studio who knew how to play instruments if they could form a band together and play there. So they made a band called the Firehouse 5 plus 2. Ward Kimball was in it. He's one of the most famous Disney animators of all time. And yeah, so they have references to that in Walt Disney World. They also have references now to it over at Tiana's Palace. That room with all the screens was amazing. I love that room. It is hands down my favorite room anywhere in any Disney park. Also, we will have a take 5 from that room coming out sometime in the very near future. Maybe even tomorrow. If enough people right now say do it tomorrow, we'll have it. So that's my video for tomorrow. Otherwise, we're going to have a Disneyland video tomorrow. I just don't know which one yet. Do you have another trip to Disneyland planned yet? Not yet. I've had people who've asked me if I want to join them for the expo in August. I'm tempted. I've had people who've asked me, well, not people. Frank has asked me if I want to join him in Disneyland in September for the next Run Disney race, which is a brand new themed race. And I'm tempted. The only problem with that one is it is a Saturday, Sunday, and I'm on a cruise until that Friday. So I would actually have to get back from the cruise and fly across the country to Disneyland. So, yeah, I have to figure that out too right now. But I want to go back. This really made me want to write. Like, so the whole week was crazy. On Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and Saturday and Sunday and Monday, I was with people all the time. Like, I had people with me pretty much the entire time up until late Friday night. And because of that, there was times where I just wasn't really taking everything in. And on, what did I say, Friday night? No, on Monday night, 2 nights ago. So on Monday night, I was at the park. I was over at Disney's California Adventure by myself. And that day I got a ton done every single day. But I got a ton done that day. And while I was walking around the area around California Adventure, I was looking at some of the details. And I was like, I don't think anyone notices these details. Even some of the little details I was pointing out to friends that I know that grew up in California were like, how did you know this? I don't know this. I've got friends who I met up with on Monday who've been living out there for 3 years. And they're like, at one point they go, I'm not sure where this is. I'm like, oh, it's around the corner. And they're like, how do you even know this? Because you're at Disney World. Like, this is our park. And I was like, well, and it made me really want to write a book about Disneyland. I've always wanted to write a book about Disneyland, but this was the most, like, when I was walking through, I was like, really, like, I just really want to write a book about Disneyland. I just don't know. Oh, I don't know. I need more time because I need to get a Dinoland book done. I need to get a Cruise Line book done. I want to get all the other rest of the Magic Kingdom ones done. And I really want to write a Disneyland book. I've always said I'm going to write a Disneyland book, but this really, like, the last 48 hours, I've spent a lot of time when I was by myself, taking in the details and observing the details. And I wasn't running to ride. Well, I still was, but I was running to ride, but I was also really observing the details more and thinking, I don't think people know this. Like, I don't think people know this detail, or I don't think people know this detail. Even Goofy's Flight School has so many cool details. Look at these details. Wait a minute. Let's look at these details. So when you're aligned for Goofy's Flight School, there is a sign on the wall, or a bulletin board on the wall, and it's got all these different things here. We got more of them here. And all these different things go through, and they've got different details about, here, let me find. Dear Goofy, in response to your recent letter, yes, we're still in business, and if you're looking for a cheap fuel for your flying contraptions, I reckon me and my brothers can mix up you a batch or two. But be careful, we ain't never tried in no machines before, and it packs a mighty powerful wallop. Your friend, Big Al. So Big Al, like from Country Bear Jamboree. So we have different things like that. We've got, where's the other? There's another one that, like, I was like, what? Like, this is just amazing that they have this in here. Oh, I fix planes. If you've got a plane that's broken, busted, or just plumb won't fly, you've come to the right place. I'll fix any aeroplane, glider, or flying contraption, get it back in the air. Contact Spin Evans, Triple R, Salvage Ranch, 1955 Mulholland Highway. Propellers are my specialty, but I also can't be your wingman. Spin Evans is from The Adventures of Spin and Marty, which was a show back on the Mickey Mouse Club years ago. And no one talks about Spin Evans. But Triple R Ranch is the ranch that they actually were at. But there's this whole bulletin board is just full of these different things. I'm like, no one knows this stuff. Or people probably read it and they're like, oh, okay, that's whatever. But I want to open up people's eyes more and be like, hey, look at this. Look at all this. Okay, so, yes, anyways, I don't have another Disneyland trip planned, but I want to go back out there. I want to write. I just need more time. I need more money. I need more everything. We all want to eat as much fried chicken and mashed potatoes as you ate there. That stuff is the best. That Plaza chicken is the best thing. I had the po' boy sandwich. Lonnie had the shrimp grits. It was good. Good. Okay, these are people say, do it tomorrow. So that is for the video. We'll do the video tomorrow. Fly out from Fort Lauderdale after the cruise. I like that idea. Cough, cough, Disneyland book. Okay, so let's wrap this bad boy up because I'm tired. Like I said, I've been flying all day. I still have to do laundry. My suitcase is literally still next to the door. Wait a minute. Let me... because I don't want to throw the camera around here. There you go. That's my suitcase right now. It's literally next to my front door. I still have not even, and that is a old privacy please sign from Paradise Pier from back in 2010. So yeah, I still have to do laundry and everything else. So we are going to wrap this up right here. As always, tonight's episode was sponsored by our You've Got a Pal in Me Patreon pals. You've got a pal in me Patreon pals. I don't know what we're doing anymore. I'm so tired. All right, thank you everyone for joining us once again tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed all my rambles about the races this week. If you have not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe. If you are interested in becoming a Patreon pal, send me a message. I will give you the link on how to become one. If you're not already subscribed, or wait, what was I going to say? I don't know. But if you're not subscribed, if you're not on Instagram and follow me, do all that stuff and join us because I would love for you guys to be following me on all platforms as we continue to grow. And the more we continue to grow, the more opportunity it gives me to have more free time to start working on other books because then I don't have to go to my job as often as I do now, which right now clearly is not a lot because I just spent the last 2 weeks running on both coasts of America. But anyways, I hope everyone out there has a great night. As always, remember that anything can happen if you let it. Until next time, have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Bye-bye now. Goodbye. Goodbye now. Are they gone? Are they gone? Oh, good. My cheeks are just killing me. I just can't see it.